Welcome to Verbal Pick Radio, where we give you a verbal image of life, and we are everyday people. Like to welcome you all to the show. We talking about the incident that took place with Snoop Dogg and Susan Rice. We want to get into that because I want to really interpret the situation from a street perspective. Maybe Susan Rice can understand what's going on because her response was too heavy-handed. But before we get started, for those of you who don't know, let me give you a brief introduction to Susan Elizabeth Rice. She is an American public official who served as the 24th U.S. National Security Advisor from 2013 to 2017. Rice was on the staff of the National Security Council and was the Assistant Secretary of State for African Affairs during President Bill Clinton's second term. Now, let me read that again. Secretary of State for African Affairs. Now, the Secretary of State for African Affairs and the best interest of African affairs is what you're specialized in. So when Snoop comes out and say, hey, you don't misrepresent Kobe Bryant in America, when he was speaking out about how she was trying to tarnish the legacy of Kobe, which was Snoop's friend, Snoop got heated. A lot of people got heated, and rightfully so, because that's not representing African affairs in a positive light, right? And so when Susan Rice makes a statement and tells Snoop to stand the fuck down in a militaristic style response, it was like, why would someone with the prestige and power of Susan Rice come out publicly and make a statement regarding or in defense of Gayle King? Now, Gayle King's response was, look, I didn't know my network was going to do such. She said when she looked the way that they did the excerpts, she said that it was shocking to her, and she was against it. Right now, from the street side, it's like, look, we grow up saying, look, don't let anybody put labels on you. Don't be no puppet for no one. Be your own person. Your word, because you have to stand by your word and the words that you choose to use, because there's always action behind your words. You heard those saying, don't write a check, your ass can't cash. Everybody black heard that statement. So when you come out in a negative light to your people regarding public figures such as Kobe, of course, there's going to be backlash. And when you say, well, it wasn't me, well, damn, you don't have the power to go check that shit. You in public eye. You got to realize, a lot of people that's not in the industry or in the media industry don't know how it works. So you got to make sure that your image is being portrayed the way you want it to be portrayed, especially to your own people, because it's your own people who stands behind you. It's now white people, they'll support you especially when the narrative is leaned towards their way. But the tradition of black people who hold true to the core values of black people and who on the grassroots efforts, who believes in unity and who's trying to build and keep the image of black people on a high level. That's very important because in America, we have to fight negative stereotypes, whether it be in music, whether it be in movies and such. Of how we're portrayed in the public eye, because you had some white writers who would create that negative narrative about black people, and they created a real time depiction of how people started seeing black people in the world, and we was being disrespected and second-class citizens and whatnot. So when you have people like Kobe and the Minister and people that's out there working hard to make money and to prove the higher intelligence that we have as a people, and to show that higher intelligence, when a black journalist or reporter start digging into a negative past, when Kobe was not found guilty, matter of fact, when the female who lied and said that Kobe raped her, she had sex with another man 15 hours later, that would be considered a slut. But you want to bring him down to the level of the slut. And people were like, hey, wait a minute, Gary, you going too far. No. Now, Snoop, they say, and I don't think so, they saying that Snoop was wrong in the words that he chose. But when you hear media people, see, the thing about Verbal Pick Radio is we don't have to. See, Verbal Pick Radio is our own channel, so we don't have to go out and say, we don't have to go out and walk lightly around the subject or issues because we don't want to lose favor with anybody or networking or advertisers or whatnot. But no, Snoop was being Snoop. Snoop, if you listen to his songs, Snoop cussing his songs. He cusses in his lyrics. Snoop is, i.e., what they would consider in mainstream as a gangster rapper in a sense. So, that's not surprisingly, but it was surprisingly to see a heavy hand such as Susan Rice get involved and make the statement, Snoop, stand the fuck down, because whether she knows it or not, she could have escalated the situation even further, because now the streets was like, who army you working with? Or, you it's like them hair started standing up, people were like, hey, what's going on? Now, to prove what I'm saying, that this is just Snoop, and we're going to take this a little further, but I have to, let me read this for you first of all. Now, this was December the 7th, 2010, right? It says, Snoop Dogg, asked by TMZ.com, remember December 7th, 2010, about the country crooner's recent marijuana arrest. And this country crooner, they're speaking of Willie Nelson. Snoop said, warned the authorities, the sheriff's department, they better leave Willie the fuck alone. Because Snoop considered Willie a friend. He stepped out on behalf of Willie Nelson, which made hillbillies, rednecks, country folks, all, in a sense, befriended Snoop. This is what Snoop said. Willie Nelson is a legend. Snoop Dogg said, sometimes you need to back up off of certain people and have a certain amount of respect for your elders. And Willie Nelson is our elder. If you got a problem with Willie Nelson, you got a problem with me. Snoop's statement regarding those who he felt wrongfully treated Willie Nelson with disrespect. Now, he stood up for Willie, and it was fine. Nobody came out and Snoop bagged the fuck down. Snoop, and that's what black people are saying, Susan Rice. Black folk always run to the aid of white people without taking their own people or own race in consideration. Now, I know Susan Rice caught a lot of hell by making that statement that she's being married to a white man, and that still is not something that's widely accepted till this day. Especially when you're speaking on black issues. They get some of the black writers who've been ostracized. You talking black this, but you got a white wife. You talking African affairs and black people, but you got a white husband. I mean, people say you should love who you want to love, but if that's the case, and you're true, and that's right. But if that's the case, then those white partners should be on the front line fighting to end racism and injustice in America. A matter of fact, if many black men and black women married to white men or white women, there should be no racism. It should have been over with by a long time ago, because you have two people fighting for the same common good. But that's not the case. It's not the case. Hell, they've shown how that child is being treated amongst how he's isolated amongst the white side of his family. How he's getting called the N-word, or she's getting called the N-word, and just all the problem that goes along with it. But we're just saying, it's a double standard. They brought up Harvey Weinstein. Now, Harvey Weinstein, let me tell you something. Harvey Weinstein was just a catalyst, was just a pawn to get the real person that they wanted, and the real person that they wanted to get was Bill Cosby. So they had to say, well, to make it look like we going after Weinstein and anybody in the industry who's doing this, but actually really they wanted to get Bill, so it wouldn't be no outcry. But they're not gonna convict Harvey Weinstein. It's not happening. And if it does happen, I'll be shocked, and I'll come back on this show and I'll apologize for saying that they wouldn't convict Harvey Weinstein. But they're not, because even the defense, and even what they're saying is that how can Harvey Weinstein, now this is the defense that they're using. Show you their mindset. Show you the mindset that some of these black high-ranking officials defend, right? This is the mindset. How can the accusers of Harvey Weinstein remember in exact detail of what happened so far back? And if they can't, that means that we can't convict Harvey Weinstein without 100% proof of evidence that it actually took place, if they can't remember exactly. Now, what is this saying? What is this saying? This is saying that this goes back to the 1866 Civil Rights Act, right? If my brother don't win his case, Byron, but I hope he does, if you can't prove that I discriminated against you 100%, you can say that 97%, yeah, I didn't like the fact that you were black. But the other 3% was those shoes you had on. It just wouldn't work in this establishment. See, that's that slippery slope we getting ready to walk into. That's the new game that's getting ready to be played. And they're going to use this Harvey Weinstein case to justify the 100%, proven 100% rule. Because they'll say, well, just like you didn't rule in the Harvey Weinstein case because she couldn't remember 100% accuracy of what took place in the past, then how can you rule 100% accuracy on what my mindset was? It's I'm not saying it's all the game because it's not all the game, but this is chess. And the problem, and black people, look, black people, wake up. I mean, really wake up. Economics, land, building something for yourself first, something for your people, and move with discipline and morals that will sustain and uphold a community. If you're not doing none of that, you're destroying the community. You're destroying yourselves. You're not building nothing for yourselves. And you're not justifying your existence on this planet. And so people wouldn't give a damn what happened to you. That's just a fact. You can get into what they call a gang culture if you want to. But that's going to end too. Why? Because we didn't create the gang culture. That came from the outside within, and we picked it up and ran with it. So that's going to play out too. That's not going to be a thing either. You dig what I'm saying? So we got a lot of things to cover. Now, but going back to the Snoop issue, when Snoop defended Willie Nelson, Snoop became a darling or a figure in a lot of white folks' mind. A good person in a lot of white folks' mind. Right? Then what else did Snoop do? Because it's two people in here y'all got to think about. One was Willie Nelson, and the second powerful figure was Minister Farrakhan. When they banned Minister Farrakhan from Facebook, who came out and went off just as passionate? Oh, y'all gonna ban the minister, man? Y'all ban Snoop went off. Fuck y'all. Fuck Facebook. You gonna ban the minister? And what did that do? All the Pan-Africanists, all the Muslims, not just Muslims who are what they would call black or African American, but Muslims around the world. All the conscious community. So, okay, Snoop, we can rock with Snoop. Yeah, okay, Snoop, we got love for you, Snoop, for that one. Willie Nelson people, we got love for you, Snoop, for that one. Then so when so when Susan Rice comes out and states that, telling Snoop to back the fuck down, people ears was like, whoa, hold on, y'all coming after Snoop? You coming after Snoop? You know? And, it's like, hey, first of all, freedom of speech. You can't jump on no black man for using freedom of speech and use a heavy hand like Susan Rice to come down when you don't use that same sentiment. Come on. Come on. Come on. How many white men you been told to stand the fuck down for using their First Amendment rights? Meaning, the frustration, and maybe Susan Rice, she might don't know this, but hopefully after listening to this, she will. The frustration is that do not respond to black men and women in a way that would perceive them to be boys and girls or boys and gals. Stand the fuck down. You just a grown man. Language, how you communicate. Excuse me, sir, Snoop Dogg, the artist. It would behoove you, or could you? It would be better if you bag off the situation because it's creating a firestorm with the power that you have in your words. We'd appreciate it. Thank you. But you don't come giving no demands, because all that's gonna do is flame the fire. That's it. And that's the last thing we need. Trust me, it's the last thing that we need. But Snoop was right, because someone needs to check the atmosphere. That's why Dave Chappelle said, well, maybe the atmosphere is a little sick. The atmosphere is sick, and it's like whenever something is polluted, and you hope a strong wind come by and move those pollutants out so you can breathe again. When people share their frustrations about a certain topic or a specific incident, and they're that passionate about it as Snoop was, that's like that wind that want to blow the pollutants out the air, and then target the one who said it, because CBS didn't say it, came out of Gayle King's mouth as far as the questions that was asked that was tarnishing Kobe's legacy, because she didn't say that Kobe was not innocent. She didn't slander the white girl. It's like, man, come on. Why y'all so... That's why 50 was on Oprah about Russell Simmons, when you're not dogging out. Are you saying since Harvey Weinstein has a little more fame and a little more money that you are more friends with him than Russell Simmons? Gayle couldn't sleep for 2 nights. I know, because her conscience was eating her up. Of course she couldn't sleep for 2 nights. The ancestors was whooping her mind, was whooping that head. Yeah, of course. But, hey, it's y'all have to realize, it's 2020. Numerology, it's 4. It's 4 right now. People, and it's time people are building their ideology, their mindset on what knowledge that they're standing on right now. And they're saying never again. And you only got till now in 2025 for it to be completed. So it's going to be a likely time somebody steps out of line now. Of course, people going to be let it be felt. Whether it be a actor, a rapper, a common citizen, a minister, a preacher, whatever, with power, are they going to come out against anything that's trying to create a narrative that pushes blacks back to the back? Black folks not going back to the back. It's too many new discoveries showing that a lot of what they call native or aboriginal black people in America was actually black people that was already on this land, and they figuring it out, and it's like, hey. And then you got the effect of the Million Man March on top of that, 1995 until 2020, where there's over 10 million scholars that meaning that seed was planted in 1995, and that seed went through the father that was there to his child that was born to now his grandchild to his great grandchild on that knowledge. And then the minister was so cold, he reiterated it 10-10-15 and kept the knowledge going. So the Susan Rice is, what I'm saying is, it seems as though the image you got of the black male is the image back in, let's say, in the early 80s or something. Or it could be, in the early 80s, where they tried to create the narrative that we just shucked and jived. We played the fool, and we just give us a ball, and we just want to shut up and dribble. And no, don't let the negative stereotypes that these Hollywood writers created and got black folks to play the Hollywood shuffle and think everybody's the Hollywood shuffle. No, it's not. No, it's not like that. And by you coming out, it makes it seem as though you're portraying Snoop and rappers as to be these ignorant niggas who don't know nothing and they better stand down, because my strength not coming from no black man, my strength coming from a white man. And that just didn't sit right with a lot of black people. So this is the street interpretation of what just went down. So hope you all understand, and hope at the end of the day, calm minds and black peace will prevail. Verbal Prick Radio, we're out.